Following a recent wave of mass shootings across the country and region, KCU staff received training on what they should do should an active shooter be present on campus. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with the details.
Plus, a new storybook exhibit opens at the Joplin Public Library, and a Kansas high school baseball coach resigns. Jacob Leonard will have those details in sports.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Some overnight storms are expected to take place. This is the KOAM News at 10. We're going to go straight to meteorologist Doug Heddy with a look at what's going on.
Yeah, we've had some scattered thunderstorms out there over the past couple hours. A lot of lightning as well. These storms are just kind of moderate storms, so nothing too strong, but they are definitely out there. 83 prior to the storms today. We've been watching this batch sink through the region off toward the south and to the east over the past several hours. Overall, they've been kind of weakening, but you can see over the past couple radar scans, a little bit of a flaring up. So we are getting a lot of lightning from southern parts of Labette, Cherokee County. Let's go into northern Jasper County, southern parts of Barton County, and then eventually these are going to track into Newton County and then eventually down into McDonald County over the next couple hours. Then what happens behind it, we got to see where these clusters go. So, of course, we're going to have to break this all down for you and talk about more storms possible by the morning. We'll chat about that here in just a bit.
All right, Doug, thank you. A Joplin woman is dead after a crash yesterday. It happened at Missouri 66 at Central City Road, just west of Joplin. Missouri State Highway Patrol says 71-year-old Cynthia Myers failed to yield to another vehicle. Myers was taken to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. The driver of the other vehicle received moderate injuries. Every year since 2011, KCU has made an effort to train faculty and staff on safety measures should there be an active shooter or threat on campus. In light of recent mass shootings across the country, they say this training is more important now than ever before. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky has more.
As mass shootings across the country increase, so does the need for training for these types of situations.
We're just doing a scenario.
It's why KCU Joplin has been hosting active shooter simulations for staff since 2011, although some staff say it's more important now than ever.
Unfortunately, it's become common to have gun violence in places like schools, universities, hospitals, churches. Yes, it's critical.
For the simulation, the medical school enlisted the help of Strategos to train their staff in various situations.
They even have to, belay under the table because that thing is heavy.
It's always important. Shooting events are going to occur.
The further you get,
and the more we're trained, the better we can respond to that, the better our situational awareness to what's around us.
KCU staff were trained on various ways to disarm a shooter, barricade themselves, and escape when possible.
We've got to stay on top of it and just working through it, staying situationally aware, imagining scenarios, not being paranoid. I'm not talking about being paranoid. Paranoid will freeze you, but being trained and be situationally aware and cognitive of your surroundings.
One staff member taking part, Jo Ensko, says her military background prepared her for this kind of training.
I feel I'm very responsible for every person in this building. That's just part of my role, but I think it also is my background. I really feel that you just don't leave someone behind, and I would make sure everybody in here is protected.
Honestly, every adult should have some form of training like this.
In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
KCU students are next to receive this training, and that will happen in mid-July. U.S. Senator Roger Marshall and U.S. Congressman Mike Garcia introduced new legislation to provide more safety to schools. The Safe Schools Act allows COVID relief dollars to be used towards providing schools in the elementary and secondary school emergency relief more physical security. Security could range from locks, panic buttons, and hiring armed school resource officers. School systems across the country received a combined $180 billion in relief and only used $30 billion of those funds. Officials with Connect to Culture say work on the Cornell complex in downtown Joplin is nearing completion. We got to look at the facility and the progress so far. Clifford Wirt with Connect to Culture says the project is about 85% complete and work is starting on the landscaping of the facility. Wirt says he believes the complex will help to continue encouraging growth and investment in the downtown area.
It is a community asset that is going to not only serve the Joplin citizens, but it's going to attract people from across the area to come and enjoy both visual and performing arts, to be able to enjoy the outdoors, to be able to enjoy the indoors.
Wirt says they're hoping to move in by October and have an official opening in early November of this year. Missouri State Auditor Nicole Galloway gave Jasper County city the lowest audit rating obtainable. Galloway identified significant weaknesses in Purcell that led to missing money. This comes after former Mayor Pro Tem Nancy Wilson pleaded guilty in January for misdemeanor stealing from the city. Authorities say Wilson wrote checks from the city and deposited them in her own bank account in March and April of last year. Galloway said, quote, "Our audit found a lack of oversight and segregation of duties by the former Board of Aldermen in Purcell that directly contributed to public funds being misappropriated," end quote. As she said, the current board has their work cut out for them to earn the trust of residents and that the audit has provided recommendations. We're wishing a happy birthday to the Carthage Chamber of Commerce. This party today marked the Chamber's 90th birthday, complete with cake and, of course, other assorted goodies. It also included some award presentations as a celebration of what the Chamber brings to the business community.
We're very excited to be able to offer a community event like this to give back just a little bit to those individuals that give back to us.
The general public was invited to that celebration at Carthage Central Park. Organizers for the Four States Music Festival announced their plans and strategy for the event. The festival will be held at Pitt State in September. It's being organized by Social House Entertainment and will feature country music artists including Chase Rice and Parmalee. Organizers say the event will be beneficial to local businesses.
But I'm just excited to see the businesses and organizations kind of capitalize on the opportunity coming out of the pandemic, getting people back together again, seeing the university obviously benefit from this event.
Organizers also say they hope to make the festival an annual event. Coming up, reality TV stars make a visit to Pittsburgh to promote a pro-life cause. Plus,
the Select Committee investigating the January 6th Capitol attack holds a primetime hearing to begin laying out its case. I'm Natalie Brand with the highlights and new details revealed.
a Kansas pro-life organization today brought their message to Pittsburgh. The guest speakers for an event at St. Mary's Colgan High School included Lisa and Alan Robertson from the TV show Duck Dynasty. They're participating in a campaign called Value Them Both. It's in support of a proposed change to the Kansas state constitution that would permit the state to adopt stricter anti-abortion laws.
Because all Kansans should be able to agree that moms and babies deserve some of the most basic protections, and we believe that the majority of Kansans, and especially those in Pittsburgh, don't believe in unlimited and unregulated abortion.
The proposed amendment will appear on Kansas ballots on August the 2nd. The Congressional Committee investigating the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol held its first public hearing Thursday evening. Reporter Natalie Brand is on Capitol Hill with the details.
In a rare primetime hearing, the Select House Committee investigating the January 6th Capitol attack began laying out what it has learned so far.
January 6th was the culmination of an attempted coup.
The panel of 7 Democrats and 2 Republicans revealed new details that says it shows the violence that day was the result of a coordinated effort to overturn the 2020 election results, with former President Donald Trump at the center of it.
Donald Trump oversaw and coordinated a sophisticated 7-part plan to overturn the presidential election and prevent the transfer of presidential power.
The committee revealed video never before seen by the public.
I am not allowed to say what's going to happen today because everyone's just going to have to watch.
The committee has interviewed around 1,000 witnesses, including some of former President Trump's family. But several of his allies have fought subpoenas, including House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy.
And let's be honest, it is a smokescreen for Democrats to push their radical agenda.
Last May, Senate Republicans blocked the creation of a nonpartisan committee that would have given both parties subpoena power and delivered a report by the end of 2021. Instead, the House Select Committee's next hearing is Monday, with several more planned in the coming months. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Former Vice President Mike Pence's counsel, Greg Jacob, is scheduled to testify before the committee in its June 16th hearing. The mob of Trump supporters were heard chanting, "Hang Mike Pence," outside the Capitol. Maryland State Police are reporting at least 3 people dead after a shooting at a machine factory in Maryland. A Maryland State trooper was also wounded. Authorities say the gunman is no longer a threat to the community and the investigation is ongoing. Help continues for families across the country struggling through the ongoing formula shortage. A shipment of baby formula arrived at Dulles Airport in Virginia today. The shipment from London was welcomed by White House officials as it was unloaded from the United Airlines plane. This comes as formula from Germany arrived in Irving, Texas earlier today. After the forecast, a new storybook exhibit opens up at the Joplin Public Library. We'll tell you more.
Plus, we have some thunderstorms dropping into the metro as we speak. We'll look at those coming up. Well, of course, we've had some scattered showers and thunderstorms out there over the past couple hours. A lot of lightning with these storms. Not too strong or severe, but just kind of moderate, good old thunderstorms, which are kind of working through the metro and have been in southeastern Kansas over the past several hours. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, Indigo, just outside Seneca, Missouri. All right, flash flood watch in effect. This is not mainly due to extremely heavy rain moving in. This is mainly due to the heavy rain we've already had, so it doesn't take much to cause some flash flooding. Look at this cluster of storms. It's been slowly kind of working off towards south. The leading edge weakened, the back edge kind of strengthened. Again, these aren't very strong, but they do have a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning in them, and they are dropping through extreme southeastern Kansas into southwestern Missouri. Let's go in. So here's the metro. So from Miami up to about Pittsburgh, Joplin, Neosho, Carthage, where you see the yellow, that is some moderate rain. And then you can see back through Cherokee County, a little bit of orange, all these little lightning bolts. So these are just good old moderate storms. Let's go a little farther east. So east of the metro through Mount Vernon, Aurora, Monette, and then eventually working in the northern parts of Berry County. Now, these are sliding southeast, so these are going to roll into Seneca, Neosho, eventually Anderson, Pineville, and then over into Berry County, Cassville down toward Eagle Rock. But I do think overall they will continue to weaken. So these will be around for about the next hour or so. Again, I'm not expecting anything too strong or severe. Temps upper 60s to near 70. 7th and range line, we have been getting a lot of lightning on the tower cam, but of course when you pull the tower cam up, you don't see any lightning. As soon as I switch, there's going to be lightning. So we got to get rid of this first batch, and then we're trying to figure out what in the world's going on out here, because we have cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3. Let's look at cluster 1. Let's go south. This is going to track across central Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, into northwestern Arkansas. This will stay south of us. Let's look at cluster 2. Western parts of Kansas. We need to see if some of these guys can get in here and try to flare up later on tonight. But this first batch that is on top of us now kind of overworks the atmosphere just a bit. Let's go to cluster 3. Nebraska, these are going to take a turn and go south. Late tonight into the morning hours, most likely will hit our southwest Missouri counties. Overall thinking here is after we get rid of the rain tonight, or at least over the next hour or two, probably only about 30 or 40% of us get any rain tomorrow, and it's mainly going to be on the Missouri side. So we just need to see how these storms kind of play out over the next few hours. Dry the next few hours. You can see a couple guys trying to get going. Kansas, Oklahoma. Here come those morning little clusters flaring up. See one storm dropping through southwestern Missouri. So this is kind of 8, 9, 10, 11 a.m. Some of those could be strong to possibly severe, but this is not going to be a widespread rain. And then once these get out of here, by the time we get into the afternoon, they scoot on out, then we look pretty good and we warm up into lower 80s for highs. If you want summertime, we just got to get through the next 24 hours and then we really dry out, really heat up. But at the same time, of course, you get the humidity. 84 tomorrow, 88 Saturday, 92 on Sunday. We kind of hold into lower 90s most of next week, but a much drier pattern working in.
Oh, I think despite the heat and humidity, we definitely need to dry out.
We do. We need about a week dry.
Maybe even 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, at the rate we've been going here lately. So, Doug, thank you so much. When severe weather strikes, you definitely want to stay informed. You can do that. If you've got your phone handy, you can just scan that QR code. It will take you, rather, to the KOAM News Now YouTube page where our weather team, they'll live stream during severe weather events to give you updated information. And of course, while you're there, be sure to subscribe and ring that bell for notifications on our live streams. The Joplin Public Library is putting a new spin on some popular children's books. Local artist Lori Marble is the daughter of a librarian. She asked librarians at the Joplin Public and Post Art Libraries about their favorite children's books and then painted them in an abstract mixed media style.
I love this project in particular because people have been so excited about it, and people are always very excited to involve children with art, and it's not very often that we get the opportunity to do that.
The paintings are being displayed for the public at the Bromledge and Wilcoxon Foundation Gallery inside the Joplin Public Library. Check this out. It's our tower. Look at that. We tell you about this. We've been telling you about it a lot. We have a huge project going on here. This is the old, almost 70-year-old tower coming down. This is the KOAM More Power project. So here's what's going to happen next. Next week, your signal of KOAM or Fox 14 may become a bit glitchy, but don't worry, believe it or not, it is a sign of progress. We're going to be broadcasting from a temporary lower power antenna while a crew installs a more technically advanced, more powerful antenna up there at the top of our tower. It is the final step in our More Power project. In fact, this is going to allow some viewers who previously lost our signal to get us once again. If all goes to plan, if we really do dry out like Doug said, we'll be back up and stronger than ever by the end of this month. Well, coming up in sports, the Oklahoma Sooners aim for back-to-back softball national championships, and a Southeast Kansas high school baseball coach decides to step down after 24 years on the job. Jacob Leonard has that story and more next.
Well, after an off day on Wednesday, the Joplin Outlaws return to the field tonight. The Outlaws are on the road this evening facing Sedalia in a Mink League South Division matchup. The Joplin is 2-3 in their first 5 games of the season. Now tonight's game, they got it done. Joplin goes on the road and wins 7-4. They'll be back in action at Chillicothe tomorrow night. Well, Frontenac head baseball coach Bill Sullivan is moving on from coaching. Sullivan has resigned as head coach after 24 years of leading the Raiders baseball program. Earlier this spring, Sullivan earned his 300th win as Frontenac's head coach. He finishes his career with 305 total wins in those 24 years. Now, on top of that, Sullivan led the Raiders to 4 CNC League titles, 3 appearances in the state tournament, and the program's first ever state title in 2012. Now here he is on why now is the right time to step away as the Raiders head coach.
I've got 3 girls that are freshmen and soon to be sophomores, and they're playing softball. I'm on this field, they're on the other field, and I just don't get to see enough of them. I'm excited to be able to watch them, support them. It's going to be different. I mean, because I'm used to being here, and it's going to be a tough thing to step away from because I have a huge passion for it still, but it's their turn, and it's time for me to give my time to them.
The Oklahoma Sooners have a chance to earn a softball national championship tonight. The Sooners hit the field against Texas in Game 2 of the Women's College World Series Finals. Oklahoma rolled Texas last night 16-1 in Game 1 tonight. They cruise again 10-5. For Oklahoma, that's back-to-back national championships and their 6th national title in program history. The St. Louis Cardinals finish up an 8-game road trip today, wrapping up a 3-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, the Cards try to avoid the sweep this afternoon after dropping the first 2 to Tampa. St. Louis comes home for 7 straight after today's series finale. They couldn't get anything going early. Couple strikeouts here. Game scoreless until the 4th. Now in the 4th, Tampa gets the first 2 of the day. Ji-Man Choi drills a laser to right. 2-run homer. Cards now down 2. St. Louis gets one back, but then in the 9th, Tyler O'Neill grounds into the double play, leaving one stranded, and that ends the ball game. Cards get swept by the Rays, dropping the finale 2-1. In the American League, the Kansas City Royals open a series against the Baltimore Orioles tonight. The Royals coming off an 8-4 win over the Blue Jays last night, just their 4th win in the last 19 games. Right now, Kansas City leads another one 7-5 in the bottom of the 8th. Carlos Santana having a nice night for Kansas City. He's 1 for 4 with a 2-run home run. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news right after this.
And we take this time now to honor one of our many 4-state heroes. Billy Beck served in the Air Force. His hometown, Sheldon, Missouri. We're proud to recognize Billy Beck, tonight's 4-state hero. Well, NASA is assembling a team to study UFOs. The agency says it wants to know more about phenomena that can't be identified as aircraft or any natural known phenomenon. It says it's interested because of national security and air safety and notes there's no evidence they're alien in nature. The study begins in early fall and is expected to take 9 months. It'll focus on identifying available data from the government, civilians, nonprofits, and companies. Unfortunately, though, tonight, not necessarily the best night to go out if you're doing a little UFO searching.
It's true. It's funny they want to research it. They're not earthly. There's no evidence they're aliens.
They're not aliens. They're just not from here. They're, you know, something like
weird.
that.
Yeah, whatever, man.
It's NASA.
It's the aliens doing their little drones down here.
That's got to be what it is.
All right, yeah, we're going to have some thunderstorms rolling through over the next hour or so, and then some more tomorrow morning, and then we really dry out for a pretty good stretch.
All right, Doug, thank you. Final check in sports.
22 local baseball players, 14 local softball players earn All-State honors. You can check that out on the sports page, KOAMNewsNow.com.
That's an impressive list. Guys, thank you so much. That's our time for now. We'll be back here tomorrow night, and thanks for making us part of your night.
Salon services provided.